Welcome to our series on the 10 Commandments of the Bible. Now, on top of me over here, you can see the 10 Commandment cards all clipped up. So we're gonna recap each of the commandments now, alright? Firstly, we have the first commandment, which is what we did last week. Do you still remember what it is? Put God first. Then the second one we have worship God only, which is what we're talking about today. And then the third one we have use God's name with respect. And the fourth one, rest on the seventh day. The fifth one is obey your parents. And the next one is harm no one. Number 7 is to keep your promises. And number 8, do not steal. Number 9, tell the truth, do not lie. And the last one we have, do not be jealous of others. Now, before we talk more about our second commandment, I would like you to take out your paper 10 Commandments tablet that we did during our introduction lesson. And by now, you should have already colored the very first commandment, put God first. So today, you're going to take another color pencil of a different color and you're going to color on your second commandment because we're going to cover this today. Alright, so let's color. Okay, I'm done coloring mine. Worship God only. Now, I'd like you to put this aside or back to your display where you put it. And then we're going to take out the 10 Commandments booklet that you can actually print out or find on our website. And we should have already finished our first commandment page. So let's go on to our second commandment activity here. I would like you to use a pencil and trace out the words worship God only. Okay, so let's trace. Okay, so after you traced the words worship God only, our second commandment. Now, go to this activity on the top. You see that there's a little maze over here and there's a boy here. This is actually you, okay? And below you have a picture of a golden calf, okay? So that's not a real God. And then secondly, we have a picture of Jesus over here. And the last one, we have a picture of a phone. So since we're talking about worshipping God only today, now you're going to try and go through the maze, use a pencil and draw the line and find your way out to Jesus. Not to the golden calf statue, not to your handphone, but to Jesus only. Okay, so let's try. Okay, do you manage to find your way to Jesus, children? Well, I did. So here's my answer. From here, go down this way, down, turn, go all the way, don't stop here, don't go to the phone, go straight up and down to Jesus. Great job, kids! Now, this activity is especially meaningful today because on today's commandment, we are talking about turning to God only and not the other things of the world. Now, before we talk more about our second commandment today, let us go to the Bible verse of the week. This week's Bible verse comes from Exodus 20 verse 4. I will read it in small parts and you will repeat after me, okay? Let's read. You must not make for yourselves any idols. Don't make something that looks like anything in the sky above or on the earth below or in the water below the land. Now, children, this verse is reminding us to worship God alone and not to make any other idols that we may worship or love more than God. So what are these idols that we are talking about? What are some examples of idols? Now, idols are actually anything that we love, believe, and respect more than the one true God. It is anything that distracts us away from wanting to be closer to God and to rely only on Him. So here are a few types of idols that we will talk about, okay? Now, firstly, there's idols that we call religious idols. Now, in different kinds of religion, people will make up idols and worship them. They think that these idols are God and it may give them good stuff like money, good health, happiness, good results, or many successes of the world. Just like last week we talked about Moses, and when the people of Israel couldn't see him, they started to take all their gold and they made it into a golden statue of a cow. Then what did they do? They worshipped that fake God. This greatly upset our one true God because it turned them away from Him. Now, secondly, we also have idols that are called worldly idols. Now, for those who don't have any religion, they might also have things of the world that they idolize more than God. And these are called worldly idols. So what are the examples of the things of the world that can become our idols? It can be anything that makes us love it more than God. It can be like wanting to get good results, okay? To you, that's the most important thing, okay? Or it can be always wanting to look pretty and dress up nicely, and this is something that is more important to you than God, okay? Wanting to look good. Or it can be your favorite cartoon or your favorite toys. And sometimes you think about playing your toys and it makes you not want to pray or makes you not want to read God's word because you rather play with your toys. Or it can be things like your favorite sports or your favorite game, and every day you just want to go out and play with your friends, and maybe even on Sunday your friends ask you out, hey, let's go and play some ball games, and you love it so much that maybe you decided not to go to church, not to go to Sunday school so that you can play. So this is one way that your favorite activity can be your idol because it turns you away from being close to God. And finally, one of the most popular worldly idols is either our phone or our iPad. We use it to watch shows, watch YouTube, watch movies, watch your favorite cartoon, play your favorite games, and because of that, you're so busy using them that you're too distracted to think about God or to learn more about Him. So even for teacher Mickey, this can be my worldly idol at times as well. So we just talked about some of the worldly idols that we can find in our lives. Now for the third type of idol and our final type of idol that we're talking about today is called the unseen idols. Okay, it cannot be seen by the eye. Now Satan is very, very tricky. And even though sometimes we may not have idols that can be seen, but inside our hearts, there may be many other things that we believe in or wish to have more than God. And because it is inside our hearts and we cannot see it, this makes the unseen idol even more dangerous. Because we may think that we love God, but actually we don't love God wholeheartedly. So children, all these are examples of things that can take away our time and our heart away from loving God and loving God only. And because we love these things or people so much, they become what we think about, praise about, and respect every day instead of God, our Creator and Father. Now, after hearing all this, children, do you think that there are any idols in your lives today? It can be in many different kinds and forms. So, the big question today is, why is it important to worship God only and not other idols? Because the truth is, even though these idols can be very attractive and they can promise us some good things, but all idols are creations of Satan and man. Some of the idol statues that people worship are only made of stones or wood or materials that cannot move or speak or do anything. And there may be also idols that respond to us, that make us feel good. And we may spend a lot of time with these idols in our lives, desiring for them, hoping they give us something good. But the truth is, they do not. They give us incomplete promises. They do not give us or those we love the true peace and joy and hope, because at the end of the day, they are all controlled by Satan, and Satan's hope is never to give us happiness. All these good things that the idols give us do not last forever, and before God, they are powerless. Now today, I would like to share with you the story of the evil Queen Jezebel and the Baal idol. This story will kind of help you understand what idols are and how God is above all the idols of the world. So today I'm going to read you this story using the Bible for Kids app. Okay, so let's read the story. Now David became a great king. Then his son Solomon reigned. After Solomon died, God's people had many bad kings. King Ahab was one of the worst. His wife Jezebel worshipped the false god Baal. So over here we have King Ahab and the evil Queen Jezebel. Queen Jezebel persuaded Ahab and God's people to worship the fake god Baal too. Because of their sins, God stopped the rain for several years. Then He sent Prophet Elijah to King Ahab. Now over here you can see that Prophet Elijah is very, very shocked and his face looks very sad. Why? Because the people are worshipping the fake god, and this is the idol Baal. You have disobeyed God and worshipped Baal, said Prophet Elijah to King Ahab. Tell everyone, including the prophets of Baal, to meet me on Mount Carmel. I will prove who the true God is, said Prophet Elijah. Now over here you can see that Queen Jezebel and King Ahab were laughing at Elijah when Elijah said that he will prove who is the true God. So we'll see what happens. Everyone gathered on the mountain. Then Elijah said to the people, "Make up your mind. If the Lord is God, follow him. However, if Baal proves himself today, follow him." Okay, so everybody came by, including the prophets of Baal, okay, the fake idol, and the other people. And they all stood before Prophet Elijah. "Baal's prophets and I will each kill a bull. Place it on an altar and pray. The God that sends fire to burn up the bull is the one true God," said Prophet Elijah. Okay, so what they're going to do, they're going to put a bull on each of the altar, and the one that can send fire down to burn the bull is the one true God. Baal's prophets went first. They prayed to Baal all morning, but no fire came. "Maybe Baal is sleeping," Elijah laughed. "Shout louder." So Baal's prophets shouted all afternoon. Still, nothing happened. Then it was Elijah's turn. Elijah built an altar and he put the bull and wood on it. Then he dug a ditch around it and he poured water over everything until the ditch was full. Elijah prayed to God. Immediately, fire fell from heaven. It burned up the bull, the wood, the stones, and the water. The people bowed down and cried, "The Lord is God!" Now an ending question. What did God send from heaven to prove that He alone is God? Was it the bull that He sent from heaven? Was it the prophets of Baal? Or was it fire? Yes, it's fire! Now children, here in the story, it shows us the power of God over the power of idols. Now when the people were praying and worshipping to Baal, they thought that Baal would give them good stuff or give them some kind of peace or what they want. But at the end of the day, when God told Prophet Elijah to prove who is the one true God, the idol could not even send down fire. No matter how much the people called for Baal to send down the fire to prove that he is God, he didn't do it. He didn't answer the people's worship. But the one true God answered Elijah's prayers and sent the fire down, burning everything to the ground. And that is how powerful our God is and how powerless idols are. Now later on at the end of the story, Queen Jezebel was super duper angry with Prophet Elijah and she tried to kill him. So what happens is Elijah fled and ran away. Later on in life, after all the bad things that Queen Jezebel has done, she died and her body was eaten by dogs. So children, through this story, it is telling us that we need to rely on God to have lasting joy and peace. You see, Queen Jezebel did not rely on God at all. She worshipped the fake god, the idol Baal, and instead of getting great things by worshipping the idol, she became an angry, a vicious, and an evil woman. And she just does whatever bad things so that she can get what she wants. But is she happy? No. And in the end, she died a terrible death. Whereas for Prophet Elijah, who always followed after the one true God, even though he had many enemies and he had attacks from Queen Jezebel, but God constantly protected him and shielded him from being killed by the evil queen. So children, unlike idols, God is something that we cannot really see or feel, but God is a spirit and He is everywhere around us. He is more powerful than any living person, idol, or things of the world. When we put anything of more importance than God, we will be like those who worship the fake idol Baal, which is something very silly. So instead of putting our worship and praise in other things that cannot promise us eternal life and protection and help, give our hearts to God alone and He will lead and guide us. It is truly a blessing to have a heart like Elijah's that follows the second commandment, which is to worship God only. Now to finish off today's lesson, we're going to play a fun game called Bye Bye Idols. This is a game of aiming and throwing. But before we play the game, let's prepare the materials. Okay, so what are the things we need? Firstly, I will need you to get 3 cups. It can be paper cups or plastic cups, any kinds of cups that you can find at home. And it should not be breakable. Okay, so no glass. Next, I will also need you to prepare 3 pieces of small drawing paper. Okay, like that. the size of my hand. Then you will also need some color markers and also some tape, okay, if you have tape. If not, you can also use blue tack. And finally, a bean bag. But if you don't have a bean bag, it's fine. Just get any small soft toy, okay? Make sure it's small like that. So once you have all that, let's start preparing. Now, as we are talking about idols today, okay, out of your 3 pieces of paper, I want you to take out 2. And on each of the paper, I want you to draw the top 2 idols in your life, okay? What are the things in your life right now that tends to distract you away from God? Distract you away from praying, distract you away from wanting to read your Bible, or makes you not want to go Sunday school sometimes, okay? So what are the top 2 things in your life that kind of turns you away from God? Okay, so you can draw 1 on each of the paper. Now for Teacher Mickey, I'm going to draw mine as well. My top 2 idols will probably be my handphone. Okay, I use my handphone a lot and it distracts me a lot sometimes. And my second one will probably be TV. Yeah, I love to watch TV a lot, and that kind of takes my mind off from God a lot of times. Okay, so these are the top 2 idols in my life. So you can start drawing yours now. Okay, let's draw. Okay, so once you're done drawing or writing on the top 2 idols in your life, okay, I drew mine, my phone and TV. I would like you to take out your last drawing paper, okay, the empty one, and I want you to take a marker and write on the word God, okay, G-O-D, God, our one true God, like this. And now we have all 3 of your papers filled up with drawings and words. So what you're going to do now is get your cups and your tape or your blue tack, and I want you to paste each of the paper onto each of the cup, and your cup must be facing down, okay, not like this but the other way like that. You're gonna paste your paper on each of it, okay? Okay, so once you have prepared your 3 cups, I would like you to put them either on a stool or on the floor, it's fine as well. After you have put down your cups, I want you to take 5 steps back from them, pick up your soft toy, and you're going to try to aim, throw, and hit the cups with the picture of the idols. The main goal is that you have to hit away the cups with the idols and not the cup with the word God. So you have to be extra careful with your aiming and throwing. Now each of the family members can make your own 3 cups, okay, 2 cups of idols and 1 cup of God, and then you will take turns to throw. Now the person that can hit the 2 idol cups without hitting the God cup with the least number of throws is the winner. So let's say I keep hitting and hitting, I take 5 throws to finally hit the 2 idol cups, and I didn't hit the God cup, but Lyra takes only 3 throws and she can hit the 2 idol cups without hitting the God cup. So she only threw 2 times and I need 5 times. Who is the winner? Lyra, okay? So let's try to aim and throw. Let's go! Well kids, I hope that you enjoyed the activity, and I hope that the lesson today helps you to understand the 2nd commandment better about worshipping God only. Just like how we tried to hit down the idol cups with our soft toy and only let God remain standing in our hearts. It is important to know the different kinds of idols in our lives and to turn to God instead. Next week, we will move to our 3rd commandment. Till then, take care and see you. Bye!